Hey, so I'm Justin. I'm going to be telling you my testimony today, how I came to know God, why I believe in God, and my whole story up to now. I'm going to keep it short because I know like testimony videos usually be like 20 minutes long. I don't want to like put you through all that, so I'm gonna just put my story into like little concise chapters in my life. So let's start with some background about me. I was born into a Christian family. Up to the age of like 13, I was like, I did like praise band, played drums in the church, went to church every Sunday. I wouldn't say I had like a fire for the Holy Spirit or for Jesus. I guess I just kind of went because my family went. And like sometimes I would think he's real. Sometimes I was like, I don't really care. I mean, I was just a kid, so I didn't really care. But around 13, I started kind of going astray. I started smoking weed, getting into like, I don't know, just like kid stuff, like teenager stuff, rebelling, doing whatever. Just living like a not good life, especially for that age, to be doing all that stuff. And then at 17, I like dropped out of high school, and then I just went on my own. Moved out, started working at a bar, and being around like all of this like not good influences, I would say. People who do a lot of drugs, people who sell drugs, people who drink a lot. I was friends with like mostly alcoholics because I worked at a bar. So I did that for a little bit. Started doing more stupid things. I started drinking a lot, started smoking way more. Started doing some drugs sometimes. And then, a little later, I started working at a studio because I've always been into music like my whole life. Since I was a kid, I've always made music. So I was really interested in like music production and like engineering. So I started working at a studio. Again, not the best place you want to be as a 18, 19-year-old. You're always surrounded by drugs. You're always surrounded by violence, by crime. So like I just started going like further and further down this deep hole where I was just so lost. I didn't really even believe in God. And I would write songs about like talking to my demons or whatever, and then being like intoxicated all the time, writing songs, and it was just a bad look. And then as the years passed, I got further and further into that. My mom refers this to like a 4-year period where I was just like I was just astray. I was like deserted from God. I was like nowhere near him. I was just ignoring him, living how I wanted to, just doing whatever. And so I lived like that for a couple years. I say around so around like when I turned 20, I started getting like into the deeper side of things. Like up to then, I did drugs and like I smoked every day and like I drank a lot, but like I didn't necessarily ever like sell drugs. Not that I ever sold like hard drugs, but like I started selling like a lot of weed, and then like getting like full of myself and like seeing all my friends like sell like a lot, just like drive these nice cars, and then getting into that mindset of like, oh, I want to be there, and I gotta do this, and I gotta like push more weight to get to this level or whatever, and getting more deluded in myself and just going like crazy down the wrong path. So I mean, so that's where I ended up. I was just selling a bunch of weed, and doing drugs, drinking, smoking every day, making songs about like sex, money, weed, whatever, like all that secular stuff. And then when I was like about to turn 21, let's not put it like that. Like halfway through, like when I was like selling and stuff, some stuff just started some weird stuff just started happening. Like there was 3 times where I was robbed. Like, there was 3 separate times, and each 3 times I knew I shouldn't have been in that situation. There was something telling me not to go to that situation, but I went there anyways. So the first time I was doing some weed deal, and then this kid just randomly bolts out and just grabs my weed, and then he just runs off with it. And then like I chase him, and like we like fight in the middle of like the street, like a dumb kid. I don't know what I was thinking, but and then thinking back on that, after doing that, I was like, why did I even do that? Like, I don't know him that well. Like, everything was telling me not to go, but I went anyways. So that was the first time, and I was like, that is so weird. Like, I mean, that was like one of the lowest points in my life, but I was like, damn, like, this is not like something normal. It just felt like God was like mad at me, because I didn't believe in God, but I felt guilty about what I was doing. So I always felt like God had like he was like, like, I'm gonna send him to take your stuff or whatever. So I was like, so that was the first time. But I didn't go back to God. I was just like doing whatever, went back business as normal. And then a second time, it was a different deal, but this time is bigger amount. Like, it's a lot. It was like thousands of dollars on the line. So I mean, and then this dude and his friend try to jump me and my friends in the car and try to take our stuff, and like we like fought them. And this was the second time. It happened in a couple months span, and I remember that was like the weirdest thing, because I wasn't supposed to do that either. Like, I didn't know them that well. I just impulsively did that without thinking. It's like, you would think it's common sense not to do this, but I just, for some reason, was pulled to do it, and then just for some reason they tried to rob me again. So I remember like that day, like that was a different day, because I went home after that. I like kind of messed up my car, because I like had to drive away while they were still in the car, and like while we were fighting them. But that day I went home, and I told my mom, I was like, I need Jesus, like almost as a joke, but like kind of serious, like, cause like my body was sore. I was tired. I was like dirty. I was like, I need Jesus. So that was the second time. And then, so I think around that time I started going to church more. Again, because before that I didn't really go to church for like 4 years or something like that. And then the third time, this is after I was like, I'm gonna stop trapping or whatever. I'm gonna stop moving stuff. And I was at my friend's house, and then we were having like a party on the 3rd floor. Everybody was on like drugs. Everybody was like high. Everybody, even I was high. And then we were just like blasting like Lil Uzi Vert. If you know Lil Uzi Vert, he's like the most like satanic artist there is. He like wears like a upside down cross, and he's like always talking about hell, going to hell. We were blasting it, like the LEDs, the lights were red, and it was just like, it just seemed like we were like almost like worshiping him, like partying for Satan. Like, you know, like when you go to like a church revival or something, it's like everyone's dancing, they're praising God, but then this time it felt like we were like praising Satan. And then so time goes on, we're like partying, we're blasting music, neighbors get mad, they're like banging on the door, or we think that it's the neighbors. But anyways, my mom texts me. She's like, Justin, God's telling me to pray for you. You should pray right now. I feel something's not gonna happen. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I'll pray. But I didn't actually pray. I was just like, whatever. And then like, but I mean, it kind of stuck in my mind. And then like, go forward a couple hours. I go downstairs, and then the door is like smashed in. And then like, it's just me and like 2 of my friends downstairs, and we're like, what happened? Like, what? We were just like in shock. We were like unable to understand. And then we realized like certain things are gone. Like my friend's keys are gone. Everyone's bags are gone. My shoes are gone. And then we go outside, and like my friend's like, my car's not here. And then like her car got stolen. Well, she got it back later, but like and like everybody's stuff is stolen. My friend's laptops, he never got it back. Like a bunch of stuff stolen, and like the doors are like smashed in, and like, but we were on the 3rd floor, and we were blasting music, so we had no idea that these people just like broke in and came. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I was just like, man, like I'm such a mess up. Like I'm here like off cocaine, coming down, just like wondering what I'm doing with my life, wondering why I even went, like why I was doing these things, like, and it was just a huge wake up call. I was like, my friends were trying to like make me like just be like, yo, just stay at our house. It's gonna be too far, because I like lived an hour away from them, but I was like, no, I just gotta drive back. And I kept like being like, no, I shouldn't have been there. My mom told me, and then that's like an undeniable sign when you see like a text message, and then literally like 2 hours later, like some stuff happens that exactly like she said it was gonna happen. Like, I don't know, to me that was like a real wake up call. Like, God's like mad at me. He's like, or he wants me to come back home. He's not happy with me being where I'm at right now. And he's a real guy. Like, when I saw that, I was like, I can't deny this. And then like I remember driving home. It was an hour drive, and then for some reason I just turned on some Christian music, and I remember I was just like crying so hard. I was like, I'm such a sinner. Like I'm such a, I don't know where I've come in my life that I have to live like this and like go through all this. Like, I was thinking about the past 2 times that I got robbed, and like I was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I even like going through this? Like, this is not who I was raised to be. This is not who I was meant to be. Like, so yeah, I remember just going home, and then so my mom has a name for me. She gave me this name and put in like her contacts like a couple years ago, and I always thought she was like so crazy for that. She always called me David, like from the Bible, and I was like, you're crazy, but whatever. And then, but then when I was driving home this day, he kept calling me David, like over and over. I literally felt like I heard God's voice just being like, David, David. And it was like such a strong conviction on my heart that it was like, this is like the pivotal moment. Like, I felt like I was driving away, like an hour away from my friends, that they're just like, or like I was just like in this lifestyle, but then now I'm driving away from this lifestyle. And that's what it felt like. And then like I was like, I need to like fix my life right now. And I remember like going home that day and then being like, I gotta record like a Christian song, because I mean, if you don't know that, I make music. I used to make like secular music, but after that day I was like, I gotta make Christian music. So I couldn't do it that day. I fell asleep because it was like 9 o'clock by the time I got home, 8 or 9, and I was like so tired. So I just went to sleep. Woke up the next day and I made this song, this Christian song, and I don't know. I guess that's like the whole thing. But this whole like thing, this whole situation that I was in, kind of reminds me, like when I read the Bible and then I started seeing certain things, it reminds me of when Peter disowns Jesus 3 times. And if I think about it in my life, I denied Jesus 3 times. He tried pulling me back, tried telling me this is not what you should be doing. You shouldn't be doing this in your life 3 times. And each time I was like, nah, like I'm good. Like I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna get famous, whatever. Like, and that's how I was living. And then the 3rd time, I just like, the same way Peter wept, like that's how I wept. I was like crying my eyes out. I was just like, damn, like what am I doing? Like that's all I could think about. What am I doing? And then yes, so like that's where I'm at. Like since that day, I've made the change. I've dropped like everything I had, like all the past music, all the alcohol, all the drugs, the weed, whatever. Like I feel like God's been like detoxing my body for like a couple months, like, and it just I could tell you, it just feels like I just feel better than I've ever felt in my life. Like I'm like so happy nowadays, and I feel so fulfilled. And then when I think back on my life, I always felt like every other day it was like, what is the point of living? Like, what is the point of even trying to do this? Like, make a lot of money. What do you get besides a car? And then when I look at like people that I know that have a lot of money and drive the cars, like drive the nice cars, have the nice house or whatever, have the nice girl, it's like when you really look down at it, they're just living their life so they can sustain that lifestyle, and there's no purpose to their lives. There's nothing to their lives. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I've been detoxing for a couple months. I just been spending time with the God, and really just like utmost like learning, or most importantly just learning about him, learning about myself, and like through this whole like process of healing, he's just been showing me so many like amazing things, and it's just like it's so crazy to see like God's hand at work. Like there's a lot of things that I won't say in this video because it's gonna make it too long, but like there's a lot of things besides like those main, like my main testimony, that like he's just been doing miracles in my life, and it's just like so amazing to see that our God is so real, and he's so like he's so alive, and he's working every day. And even if you don't know him, even if you are far away from him, even if you are doing whatever, doing drugs, like having sex, and like just living your life, partying, whatever, like he still loves you. He still has a plan for you, and it's all you got to do is open your heart, open the door of your heart, and like let him in. Like, because even though God showed me these things, I say in like so what's it now, like August, yeah. So in like January this year, that's when I like started seeking God. This is like before things happened, but that's when I started seeking God. Not seriously, but that's when I was like trying to make an effort somewhat. And then like when I look back at my journals of like prayers or whatever, it's just like crazy to see the progression. It's like I would write like small prayers, like 2-3 sentence prayers, and it was hard for me. But now I like pray like an hour a day, or like 2 hours a day, and it's just like I'm happy to do it. And then like I just like the more I get into like this whole like lifestyle, the more happy I get, the more fulfilled I get. And yeah. All right, so I hope that was helpful. I don't know, like I know like maybe when I was doing these things, if I heard this, then maybe it would have helped me. I don't know. I just God put it on my heart to tell this story like a while ago, but I just felt like I wasn't ready to say, because I was still like sometimes living in and out. But now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm really just like all or like ride or die for God. You know what I mean? Like I could be like a hobo and I wouldn't care as long as I have God. I just love him very much. But yeah, I hope this helped you. This is my testimony. I know it was way longer than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like 5-10 minutes, but that's my testimony. Yeah.